Okay, it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. I am so excited. I'm always excited whenever I get to come and have a conversation with Jenny. We just have so much fun together that I think our biggest problem is to keep it concise so that it's something that other people can uh, really digest. And so we decided to do these mini series, these 20-minute talks once a week. And hopefully that does make it more digestible for everybody because I think I've heard you say it before, Jenny, big brains have a lot of things to share. And I think we both have pretty big brains. So inside of our leadership momentum accelerator, we go through so much, but we want to just to take it down a notch and share why we feel this stuff is so important. So Jenny, why don't you introduce yourself and then talk a little bit about what we shared last week, and then I will.
Thank you, Debbie. Well, and I remember getting it from you too. 1 + 1 = 11, right? That's exactly how our math works inside the Leadership Accelerator, as well as when we're together. So hi, everybody. It's good to see you all and have you watch the replay. Thank you for coming on. So I'm Jenny Reyes, as you can see. I've been in branding and marketing for over about 20 years, I want to say. Started in corporate and then went to do my own. I have my own business, Your Brand Story, and I've been working with different entrepreneurs and leaders ever since, in terms of developing their brand, aligning it, putting the pieces of their brand puzzles together so that it comes out congruent and it comes out in the way that resonates with their audience. And I believe this is something we've put together as well with Debbie here in the Leadership Momentum Accelerator, which we keep referring to for entrepreneurs and business owners who finally want to step into their own light and shine bright, and everything that Debbie can help bring with the clarity and the vision, and the visibility as well. So what else was the question, Debbie? My brain was a little bit
I know. I just really wanted you to introduce yourself and then talk about what we talked about last week,
Yes,
but you might have touched. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and so we always start with clarity, right? And that's something that, if you haven't watched the replay last week, it's really all about making sure you're clear on who you are, who you would love to be known for. That is part of the branding, and how you show up in the world, right? And that's essentially, we were talking about it as well, along the lines of the Lionsgate portal, because that was the day that it was the highest frequency, if that's how you call it, to be able to manifest what it is that you would love to have and to be, moving forward. And so that's kind of what we touched on. We didn't kind of go into a little bit more of the details on the clarity on the branding, and that's kind of why we're here today.
Yeah. Thanks for setting that up for us. And I'll just talk a little bit about who I am. Jenny did kind of say a little bit, is like, I believe so much in the foundation of clarity. What I witnessed over and over again when I'm working with Dean and Tony, he'll get millions of people come in and say, I want to do this. I want to take my knowledge and turn it into an expertise. I want to share my past experiences and turn it into a course. What can I teach?
Mm-hmm.
What am I passionate about? And they just get in this overwhelm. And I hear bits and pieces of who they are and a really big purpose behind it. Always a strong, like, if I could just reach these certain people. And I'm like, and if I could just give you that clarity. Clarity is king. If you have clarity, you have confidence and you have courage to step out and do the things that put you in front of people. And so that's really who I am. I'm always helping highlight and elevate leaders so they can step into their highest potential and then guide and lead the people they're meant to. And that's really how I think of it. So Jenny, why don't we get started into this whole SMART goals that we talked about? And go ahead, if you're here with us live, we want to see it in the comments. If an aha moment happens or if a question happens, I'm watching for that and I'll relay it to Jenny. So
yeah, thank you, Debbie. And I did see some people say good morning. So good morning. I'm glad you're here. Last week we did touch on the foundation of clarity, understanding, the bigger picture, the bigger vision. It's always better to have that, to know, like, in 5 years, 10 years, however long you want to be, who do you want to be known for? What's the persona or the identity that you want to claim, right? And oftentimes we'll have people say, the oh my gosh, hi. I squirrel brained a little bit. Let me get back to it. But oftentimes, we'll have people say you've got to be that person today, so that you start acting as if that you're that person, right? That can also sometimes feel overwhelming for so many people. It's like, where do I start? So again, the clarity comes back in, and there's a framework and a tool. Again, not something that you and I, Debbie, have created, but I've been using it. I do facilitate some leadership workshops for leaders in a Fortune 500 company, pretty often. And one of the tools that keeps coming up is a SMART goal tool. And if you've heard of SMART, SMART, I'm sure some spell it out. It's something that has been around for quite a while, and we've been using it in getting clarity on your branding. So S for specific, M for measurable, A for actionable, R for relevant, and T for time bound. And the way that I look at it, it's like, well, okay, you want to be this bigger version of yourself, or this person 5 years, 10 years down the line. Who are you, or what are the steps you need to take, right? And you can bring it down to as close as 3 years, as close as 1 year, as close as 6 months and 3 months, and start looking at that time frame, which is the time bound of the T. Interestingly enough, I started there. But the time bound of, in 3 months, I would love people to know this about me, or about what is it that I offer. And how do how is it relevant to you, right? Why is that important? Some people will come to me and they'll start to talk about, oh, I know I need to do social media. Okay, that's very vague. You might think that's specific, but that's still very vague. Like, there's so many different channels of social media, but why? Why do you want to do social media? Why is it important to you? So again, we go back to that whole clarity piece, and we're drilling it down so that it's something that feels very tangible and actionable, and things that you can do. What are the steps that you can take to make that a reality in the time frame that you want to do it in? Am I giving too much because I feel like
no, I will go back to make this for you, because we've heard of SMART goals before.
Yes.
But let's put yourself in this thought, because Jenny started it out. Who do you want to be known for at a specific time? I think that's a really good example, because Jenny, most people come to us and they're at that crossroads. They're either like trying to bring in a new program, or they've got 1 or 2 programs happening and they're not connecting the dots for their audience. They're multi-passionate people, and we help them really put that together. Right. So I want everybody to jump into that mind frame of, like, who do I want to be known as? Who am I claiming? Who am I going to be seen as? And how do we help you get that consistency across your brand? Right. So continue on. Tammy just said it's all perfect.
Thanks, Tammy. And it's not necessarily like the whole picture of you, right? It's something that I always talk to when people come into a strategy session. They're like, oh, but I also have this. To your point, Debbie, I also have this. I also have this. Yes, and I was speaking to somebody the other day, and her profession she's in the medical profession. And she was saying, and I said, you can understand pediatrics. When you first have a baby, and we have a colleague who's gone through LMA who's about to have a baby, but I digress. When you first have a baby, you don't give them the whole buffet. You've got to teach them a solid food one at a time until you know it's okay, and then you can start adding on. And I have found that to be a very tangible representation of a SMART goal of being it more concretely. Like, this is the time frame. I want to be able to have this part of my identity or part of my course or the message I want to display. When I know that I can measure it, right? That's the measurability of it. This baby's not throwing up. This baby is actually liking this part of the food. Okay, now we move on to the next solid, and then the next solid. Again, referencing branding as pieces of a puzzle that you're putting together. Again, you don't build the puzzle by just throwing all the pieces out there and hoping that it all sticks, right? It's taking it one at a time, looking at it and making sure that you can actually see, is it working based on what I feel is working? Is it not working? And then you move on to the next part. Does it connect? And so that's where we get into the specificity of your goals and your branding and what you're trying to build. And so again, I mean, it just references the clarity of your vision, right? We never lose sight of the bigger vision. We always have that in mind. Is this working towards or leading towards that bigger goal? But then now you're bringing it down to something that is more actionable, more tangible, more measurable, and relevant for the time frame that you've set. So
I love that. So I like to say it in a little different way, and I'm hoping that people connect these two dots, because mine is clarity and Jenny is branding. And I love that we always see things and then pull it together. Is number one, we need to know what our North Star is. What are we going towards, even though we might not know all the steps that are going to take us there? That is part of clarity and courage and confidence. As you know yourself more, you're going to recognize what am I not allowing myself to see as that possibility, right? So that dreaming bigger, that allowing, and then having a team around you that gets you, that totally understands that this might be a really big, audacious goal, but it is a dream on your heart. That's really, really important. That's what Jenny and I are, is we're your team that will actually push you to dream bigger. And then we're going to pull out those little pieces that are like, oh, I don't even know if she realized she said that, that there is actually a level of permission and getting out of your own way and then coming back into alignment. So, Jenny and I, even in our branding, we're like, we're kind of activators. We're going to be catalysts for change. We're going to take all of those things, kind of those hidden wishes and desires and your BS stories, and help you get out of your own way and step into who you truly are. And I think that it's really fun to do in such a safe environment where everybody feels that they can share and then realize something about themselves. Because Jenny, we've had so many aha moments that have come, and me and you as well, right?
Yeah, for ourselves as well. And that's the great thing about having at least somebody there, to bounce that off you, to reflect it back, to be able to illuminate or to shine light on it as well, in terms of what do you feel, because sometimes we're too close to it also. And even with myself, when I look at what it is I bring out to the world, I ask other people and I wait for the feedback, and then I distill it, right? It's how does that sit with me? Does that actually align with that bigger vision that I have? So clarity, while we always start there, you continue to go back and you find some tools that will help keep driving that. That includes the team, that includes everything that you're doing, and it's always a good check back, right? But I think one of the important things too, Debbie, is because the opposite of clarity is overwhelm, which is where many people often start. And it's like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I believe we were talking to somebody the other day too, and she was just like overwhelmed, like, where do I start, what do I do? Start, because once you're clear on this one part first, try it, then you'll have some answers, yes or no. And a no is as good as a yes, because if it's a no, then you know to close that door and then open the next one. And then it's more bite-sized. I feel like I need to keep repeating that. Like, it's more bite-sized. It's again not the whole buffet. You have it all with you, but you can't just all open the buffet to everybody. They'll start with a dessert first, and that's not the right place to start. And again, we use analogies to try to make things easier and palatable for people. I must be hungry. I keep referring.
I don't know, but it's hilarious. I'm like, your examples today are completely different, and I'm always in awe. I'm going to circle it back. Is if we don't have the foundation of clarity and stretching our goals and moving into the uncomfortable, we are going to play small. And I believe we're not here to play small. We're being nudged, whispered, pushed to play bigger all the time, especially us that are considered ourselves as leaders. We are the way showers. We are the guides. We are the mentors that someone's looking for. If you feel that in your heart, know that you have to step into that courage. There is no other way. And that's really why Jenny and I are so passionate about what we're doing here. I can't believe that we're already 16 minutes into this, Jenny. I'm going to talk a little bit about, the series, but I'm going to go right to August 28th, because that's really the grand finale here of this series. So we're here every week, and the replays will sit here. So you can come back, you can ask questions, we'll keep an eye out on all of these. But on the 28th of August, we're actually going to do a full hour. And what we're really loving about this is we're going to be taking from you that are here with us live. We're going to be taking an application. We'll drop an application. So comment live if you're here with us live, and we will message you the application for a free hot seat. Now, it is an application. There's going to be many people. There's 2 winners. There is an application or a hot seat that we'll give away for a branding audit for your social media branding to make sure that we're congruent across all. And then for me, it's a clarity audit, or not audit, sorry, a clarity session. And that is really just being able to stop, listen to what you're saying, help you see some of the little hidden gems. And then, that's
it is. I mean, an audit brings clarity, right?
Yeah.
So a clarity audit.
So we thought that we could take one of our past students, or we could take somebody we knew, and we could do this with them. And then in order to make it fun and a game, which we're all into that, is let's let you guys apply. So if you're here with us live, comment live, you'll get the link. Once you get it in, we're going to decide who is the best fit, because we're going to invite as many people to this August 28th session, and they get to watch and witness and learn from you as the example. So I hope that everybody's understanding that. Jenny, I'm going to pass it back up to you to kind of like take us home into what we learned here today.
Well, and I believe that is kind of the third part of what we do together, Debbie. And Debbie, you do it so well, is the visibility portion of shining people, bringing them forward, providing a stage. And the stage doesn't have to be like a physical box with a microphone. It's things like this that when Debbie pulls people together, and so that is essentially the trifecta of everything that we're doing. The 1 + 1 = 11. Again, coming back to that, my favorite new math of all time, where when more minds come together, then we're able to actually amplify and create more visibility and shine a light there. So we hope that this session, I know we're almost to our 20 minutes. I think that's where our eyes are going. Help provide how to use the SMART goals as well in your clarity, in your branding, in your vision, and how to make it more tangible and bite-sized in terms of where you want to go and who you want to be known for, right? Not necessarily who you want to be, but who you want to be known for in the world. And that's essentially where the branding piece comes back to. So, yeah, I would love to. We enjoy these things. We definitely love to support in any way that we can. There.
Carmen, you get it too. I smile every time I see this because I truly believe it. I've witnessed it so many times I am a certified circle leader. And when you get people and you hold that space and you start a conversation, things happen, activations, releases, new perspectives, growth opportunities. It happens like multiple. So I believe in that math. Jenny loves to bring it up, and now Carmen, you get it too.
Yeah,
we can do a whole session on that type of math and amplification. But anyway, thanks everyone for being here with us live. We really appreciate it. I think anybody that is a leader or a mentor knows that sometimes we could be talking into the air, and that doesn't always feel so good. This is for you. We are here to support because, as I love to say, I never want you to be the best kept secret. So thanks, everyone.